Hi guys, I'm back again today with another reaction video, and today we're checking out 7 things you won't expect when you move to Australia. Why is that and what are those? So before we start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button. Let's get it. Ruky, you have to press play.
Moving to the other side of the world is a long and drawn out process, and to be honest, it's pretty difficult. When you do it, it's so much of a blur that you're probably not going to think everything through. And to be honest, that's probably not a good idea. So to help you out, we want to share with you our 7 things that you wouldn't expect when you first move to Australia. G'day guys, my name's Ross and this is my wife Sam, and we moved to Australia during a global pandemic. After spending 2 weeks in enforced hotel quarantine, one of the things that we weren't expecting that much was everyone to be so friendly. In the UK, we weren't used to people being so friendly, and after 10 years of living, well, adult living I suppose, I think we made about 3 friends, like that were neighbours.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we had more friends.
So, yeah, that didn't sound right. It sounded like we only had 3 friends, no matter where they lived or where they came from.
All right, I think we had 4 actual friends. But to find like people being so friendly and neighbourhood friends, that definitely wasn't something which we had in the UK at all.
That's better. Neighbourhood friends.
Apparently I'm an English teacher now and I can't speak and I get corrected by my wife. Like now, how many friends do we have in our street where we live? I think we pretty much know
4, 5.
everyone in the street, and we would probably say that, yeah, at least 5 of them would be good friends.
Yeah.
Sorry if any of you have seen this and kind of counting and you're wondering if it's you, but I can gladly say I think there's only 1 weirdo in the street.
Yeah.
Apart from me, so 2 weirdos. But there's one guy's a bit weird.
They're not weird, actually aren't friendly, they're quite rude. They slammed the door in my face.
Yeah, when we first moved in and we were just
Yeah.
introducing ourselves and they just decided to do the slamming. I've never had a door slam in the UK, so maybe that's a first for Australia. But generally speaking, I think Australians are pretty friendly across the board, and whilst it might kind of seem quite false at the start, especially when everyone seems to ask you how you going, I think if you wanted to have the conversation with them, as long as you were to persist, I think most people would be up for having a chat.
Oh yeah.
And it just makes you feel a lot happier about your daily life because you don't feel so isolated.
Everyone's your mate. I always greet you with your name. It's like, you alright, mate? Even you call me mate. I'm like, I'm not your mate, I'm your wife.
Are we not mates?
No.
Are we friends?
I guess so, but I don't like being called mate.
Thing number 2 is probably because I'm such a slacker anyway, but in Australia you get so many public holidays. In Queensland I counted it up and we get 15 public holidays across the year. So that averages out like at least once a month.
15.
In the US apparently I counted, I'm not really sure if this is correct,
US?
but yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you got confused and meant UK.
Some people do watch us from other places.
Perfect. Great.
So in the US apparently there
Philippines.
might be around about 13 public holidays, and I thought that that was the country where they always moan about how much they're at work, so I was quite impressed with that. In the UK it's 8. How did I live so much of my life having just 8 public holidays?
Wow.
I don't know how I cope, and especially as a teacher when most of them were during the time when I already had off anyway. It's not like I ever really got to enjoy them. But we get 15 now.
Wow.
Oh my god! Wow! Australia Day, Anzac Day, like for the military. You never get a day off for Remembrance Day. You just have to sit indoors and watch the little parade.
Queen's birthday?
Yeah, like it was our queen, yet they get a day off in October. Just why not? Just spread it out a little bit. We don't even get Queen's birthday. She has 2 in England. We don't even get one of them. We don't even get one. Ridiculous. Thing number 3, I think was quite a surprise for both of us, especially when you move because you kind of need an income to be coming in. But we found getting jobs surprisingly easy, and that was not what we were expecting. Like, I found my job actually in our 2-week quarantine. I did my interview while I was in a toilet.
In the bathroom.
I'm not allowed to say on the toilet, although
Right.
that brings me so much joy.
In the bathroom on a study chair.
It sounds more impressive if I say I have a 100% success rate of getting jobs in toilets, but then that's also a bit weird. So maybe I retract my statement. But you found getting your job pretty easy as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, even with Samantha, she's had so many different changes of careers. Sometimes she changes her job like the wind changes. You started off having a look in beauty. You found
Yeah.
that job within what, a week?
Yeah. really quite quick, but it didn't pan out. It wasn't quite what I expected, and then we just.
I'm sure it would have been good for someone, but just not for you.
Well, when we looked into it, the money wasn't as good as if I went back into disability support work. But a lot of them jobs are casual,
Which is why the pay is a little bit higher. But just actually finding the jobs, I mean, people are crawling out for them.
I just phoned the office randomly. I just did searches and phoned them, and I was like, "Are you looking for any more support workers?" And they were like, "Yeah." And they were like, "When can you come in?" And I'm like,
"Can you come in that day?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I'm free." And they said, "Could you come in this afternoon?" I was in.
Disability support workers, come on over. Didn't quite make, I think, the top 50 most in-demand jobs. But even thinking about, so where I work in a trade college, and I do work experience visits for our students. And all of the trades that I go round and do visits for, they're always crying out for more tradies. And I suppose that's one of the reasons why we can be so successful, pushing some 16-year-old kid who wants to be an apprentice in front of them, because there's no one else to want to do it. There is such a job shortage across so many jobs in Australia at the moment that finding a job, as long as you're quite open to what you want to do and you have a little bit of flexibility in that, you're definitely going to find some work. It might not be the ideal thing, but then you don't have to do it forever. And if you get lucky like us, we really enjoy our jobs, then that's a bonus. The thing that you wouldn't expect, number 4, coming from the UK, where when it gets to the end of the financial year, which is kind of about now, you always have that fear, don't you? Every time the mail comes through and you're looking through it and you see something from HMLC and you know the taxman is not going to be giving you any money. Well, in Australia, number 1, you don't have that request. You have to fill in your own tax form, which was a bit weird, or get an accountant to do it. But you can claim money back. It was such an alien concept for me to be able to get money.
Here, in your dreams, yes, you can. That's it. Just a dream thing. It's in your head. You will get tax return probably never.
Back from the taxman. They even have what they call EOFI, end of financial year sales, where people just go out and randomly buy stuff at the end of the year that they know they can claim back on their tax. Like, it's everything. Like protective gear. Even as a teacher, I can claim tax back for sun lotion because I do outside yard duties.
Hats, sunglasses. And
Mileage. So if you have to drive for your work, which both of us do. Like, you can claim money back for that. I think it's something like 72 cents a kilometre at the moment. Home working. So I've had to do some home working this year because of COVID, and so have you. So we'll have to calculate how much of the year we did that, but there's an amount we can claim back for that. And when it comes in, you get about, I think the average is somewhere like $2,000 and a bit per year. So it makes a significant difference. And in the UK, when the taxman wants money from you, and that seems to be the norm because you keep cocking up your tax codes, to be here and to be able to get some money back for just doing your job, it's a nice little bonus at the end of the year. And thing number 5 is Aussie scenery. When we first moved, what were you thinking about wanting from your Australian life? And I can tell you now, beaches, even though we're not really beach people.
Yeah, but scenery and green and views and all that kind of stuff, which we don't get in England. We can go 5 minutes down the road and we've got a really nice view.
We did get lovely views in England, not to poo-poo them, but the bit that ruins it is the weather.
Yeah.
And to stand there and look out over a lovely view and be there in a freaking waterproof coat, standing there freezing with your hands in your pockets, isn't really my idea of, wow, this is wonderful. But here we've got beaches, we're in between the Sunshine Coast, we're going to go down to the Gold Coast soon. But I've found that we love different types of scenery now. Like, the only thing I don't think we have really seen is we've not gone out into like the outback where everything is red yet.
Yeah.
And I'd love to do that just to kind of see it and experience it. But one of the things that I found with Aussie scenery is you have this fixed mindset of what type of scenery that you like, but when you get here and you start to experience some of the different types of scenery, you're like, oh my god, I don't actually know what to choose from now. Like, I think about different places. I saw an advert for visiting Queensland, which is our home state, the other day, and just in this area, and you could see so many different types of scenery, and you're like, this is on my doorstep. I'm so lucky to be able to do this. So if all of this is making you want to move to Australia, then you might want to speak to our friends at True Blue Migration Services. True Blue Migration Services is one of Australia's oldest and largest and most reputable bunch of MARA registered agents. And genuinely speaking, I don't think that we would have moved to Australia if we didn't have the use of an agent. Like, how stressed was I?
You were, and it was making me really stressed. Yeah, it was really hard.
Yeah, and this was me being able to speak to someone who knew what they were doing and them just saying, we need this form, we need this signature, can you provide us with this piece of evidence? So if I was having to do that as well on top of living and saving money for the whole of the process, we'd probably still be there right now, and I'd have wasted a load of money trying to fill out the form and I'd have done it wrong, because I rush things and I do them wrong. So make sure that you save yourself some hassle, speak to True Blue Migration Services and use their free visa assessment, and let them tell you exactly what your best options are for moving to this beautiful country. And once you've done all of that, make sure to tell them we sent you. It really helps the channel out. Now, our next thing that we didn't really expect in Australia, and I suppose we really found this today, didn't we? It's just how clean everything is.
I can't get over it. Like, we went into the city today, and there's just like no litter. There's no. Okay, there might have been the odd.
Maybe that's why
bit of
people are
graffiti,
like
but
walking
hardly
barefoot.
nothing.
Kids are kids.
And yeah, it's so clean, so clean.
Especially in comparison to the UK, we were on one of these like Facebook groups for your local area, and it would be constantly updated with people, normally kids, just wrecking stuff. Like one time the fire brigade got called because they decided they wanted to set fire to the bench.
Yeah.
Another time I saw it, they said don't go to the kids park because someone's decided that they want to, you know,
Smash the glass.
oh no, not that one. They went one stage further. They decided they wanted to poo down the slide.
Oh, lovely.
It's not like in Australia they have an army of people that just go around and clean stuff up. I think that people here also have more respect for keeping stuff clean and just the environment that we live in. Like, we share it with everyone.
Honestly, I was not expecting it to be that way. I don't know why. Maybe like you have assumptions, right, based on what you see. And I never thought, like, I didn't think it was dirty, Australia, or clean. I was thinking it's just in the middle, right, depending where you are. And I was thinking people are just always, you know, drunk and reckless and ruining things, but I guess I'm wrong. Wow.
Or keeping stuff clean and just the environment that we live in. Like, we share it with everyone. So pick up your rubbish, take your stuff home with you, don't throw it on the floor in the first place. You're always going to get the minority of people that are idiots, but I think the vast majority here have the respect for everyone else in keeping things clean, because we're not doing it for us, we're doing it for everyone else.
And also, along that kind of line, I never really see dog poo. Like, and there's a lot of dogs here. Like, the majority of the houses here have dogs. Yeah, you just walk down the road and there's just never any poo. Like, everyone's just so respectful. Pick it up.
I remember when I was growing up, there was an alley that went through from like where we lived to one of the local primary schools, and it was called Dog Shit Alley.
Oh god.
That was just the name of it.
And
I
now
swear it even had a sign. Our next thing that we found when moving to Australia, and this is the one that genuinely made me think, have we made the right decision, is you do eventually get used to everything being so expensive. When we first came here, you would see how expensive things were. It was eye-wateringly expensive. My pet peeve, when we used to go food shopping, I used to see things like mushrooms, which were quite cheap in England, going for more per kilo than things like chicken. Capsicums, I mean, even just the word capsicum rather than pepper. But then just to see how expensive they are, to see how expensive some of the food is out of season. Now, I get it. I get why all of those things are so expensive, transport costs and everything, but I don't know how tourists do it, because once you start earning here and you can see...
If you're a tourist, you just gotta settle for like McDonald's, the staple, right? Because like it's cheap and that's the only thing you can afford. Well, yeah, the cost of living, it might be like, in terms of food, might be high, but then I guess they pay their workers well, so I guess that's why you get used to it to the end, right?
don't know how tourists do it, because once you start earning here and you can see how much money is coming into your account versus how much comparatively goes out, like I already know that because my wage is higher here, that we are better off financially. Like we wouldn't have been able to afford this house in the first place just having our wages in the UK. The one thing though that I do find that I haven't got used to with regards to buying things is it still annoys me when stuff is out of stock and it's out of stock for so long.
Yeah.
We're used in the UK to things being out of stock, but then being able to get it back really, really quickly. Yeah. Even during COVID, things used to come into stock. If it went out of stock, we'd get another one. Here, you wanted Biscoff, didn't you? It's like Coles didn't have it for like 5 weeks.
Coles didn't, Woolworths didn't.
What first world problems do we have?
Well, Aurora kept asking, can I have Biscoff, can I have... And I said, no, there's none in the shops, it's all gone.
Telling that to a 2-year-old, they just don't get it. They just scream the house down for Biscoff.
And I've noticed them the last few weeks, they've had no like tissues. And their nappies went really low at one point.
If you work in retail as like some kind of supply chain manager, you are going to get a really good job and you're going to revolutionise how things are done here, because some of them can't do it.
We also forget that everything is a lot slower over here, and we are starting to understand that. And
yeah. When we first moved, having things not there for like the next week, we're just wondering. It used to annoy us. Yeah. Now I just can't get used to it, but it doesn't annoy us anymore. We're like, sorry Rora, no Biscoff again. You're gonna have to eat dust. Now our last thing that we didn't expect when we first moved to Australia, and to be honest, you don't still really know what it is, but leave loading is a thing. Ma'am, what's leave loading?
Leave loading.
Yeah, not like tree leaves.
I was going to say, is it to do with a tree leaf?
No.
Or it's to do with your work?
My work. So because I'm
Oh,
contracted.
I know. I think I get it. I'm gonna guess and we'll see if I'm right. So you can like leave loading. Like you can take a leave, like stack them up, right? Let's say you have like 2 days leave in every month, let's say, and instead of using it, you can just stack them up and then use them one time big time. Is that correct?
Time, and most people in Australia who have that are probably going to get leave loading. Because Sam is a casual worker, most of the time you don't have leave loading, because if you're not working you don't really have leave. So apparently leave loading is a thing in Australia whereby whenever I take annual leave, which is at the end of the year over summer holidays, I will get 17.5% on top of my wage. And apparently it dates back to like a union thing when people used to rely.
Forget what I said, but what? Okay.
Overtime and then not having that when they're on leave. I don't really know where it comes from, but all I know is it's a great thing, and for some reason over the summer holidays I get paid even more for not really doing a lot.
So every break you have?
Now it's not every break,
okay.
It's just at the end of the year. So it's when you take your big annual leave.
So is that the December one?
Yeah, over the summer.
One.
Yeah, which is a right touch because Christmas is an expensive time of the year.
Oh, and I think you should talk about superannuation because that's pretty cool over here.
Yeah, in England, as with probably most countries, you kind of have to pay into your pension. I would get contributions from my employer, but as far as they were concerned, if I didn't want to contribute, they didn't have to contribute. So it was a great thing. Here, with the super guarantee, I think it's going up to like 12 or 12.5% by 2025. I don't have to pay into my pension if I don't want to. Every year, 10% of my wage gets added. It's like it's extra on top of your wage, but that gets added into my super, that goes towards my pension, that generates money. Some companies as well, if you want to add more, so I do choose to add more, they'll match it as well. So I kind of view it as like free money. They do it before tax as well. So actually you spend more than you get. It's just like magic money really, but you put some in, you get some back. So yeah, no, I'd agree. Thank you, Samantha. There's your bonus thing that we didn't expect, because I didn't really look into pensions before we moved over, because as far as I'm concerned, that's an old Ross. That's old Ross's problem.
Well,
that's not my
old. You're 30, what this year? 5?
Yeah.
And look at the state of your hair.
I've been going grey since I was 13,
Like a
man.
badger.
Oh wow. He's 35. He's like 3 years older than me. What happened to me? Well, don't put yourself in situations wherein it will stress you. That's the secret. Everybody keeps asking. I'm like, yeah, just get away from stress. Like when it's there, just run.
Yeah.
Look at the state of your hair.
I've been going grey since I was 13,
Like a
man.
badger.
I've been going grey for longer than I've not been grey. Like, it just doesn't
And
bother
I
me.
get super as well, even though I'm a casual worker.
Everyone
which-
gets super,
Yeah.
which is a great thing because we're all going to get old and we're all going to need some money. If you have anything that you want to share with everyone else about what you didn't expect when you moved to Australia or lived in Australia, make sure to leave it into the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, you found it interesting, make sure to give us a like, and that way this video can be shared to more people. And if you want to keep listening,
Yeah, that was a very interesting. It just makes you want to move to Australia. It seems like more of a country of freedom than, you know, in a sense, of course. But let me know if there's other stuff that you want me to check out that is shocking or interesting and fascinating about Australia or any other place in the world. Let me know down in the comments. If you like the video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.